Hello. Creating an app for a challenge called the Step for Health Challenge. But first, who am I? I'm Cathal O'Kane. I'm a design student. I'm also an interactive designer at Kofax. Now I will continue my presentation, now that you know my background and who I am. So I started off by researching different various apps that are already existing out there and created a board and Pinterest and gathered lots of information. I also then downloaded apps in relation to the app in question that we're designing for and tested these apps out. So I've seen what things work, what things don't work. And more to the point is I tested what other people are actually using. So most likely that these are existing apps, and for the sheer fact that they're out there and they're very popular is a good indication that the apps are working. A lot of time was spent understanding these apps, because the more time I spend understanding apps and understanding how they work, how people interact with them, the better the final outcome will be. Even more time was spent on the people who interact with these apps. So basically what I'm saying here is, as well as looking at the apps and seeing how they were like, it's like what kind of environments do people use these apps in? Are they using them in the office? Are they using them at home? Are they using them in the morning, evening, afternoon, etc., etc.? And from this knowledge, I designed wireframes. And basically these wireframes were really quickly drawn. And then this has changed, not just to a low fidelity prototype, but and then high fidelity prototypes. But through this process of design development, at a stage I had a menu bar, as I'm sure most people know, the menu option that you click up in the top corner and a wee menu comes out. Basically within my design I was able to eliminate this and find a way of eliminating this option. And then you've got your bottom navigation, which is in most apps, but I've actually found a very intuitive way to disregard that there as well without losing the experience and the simplicity of the whole thing. So basically, what is the app? This is basically what the app will look like. It's basically a dashboard sort of app working through a list sort of mode, and basically you drill in and drill out of information. Here's a close-up to give you an indication of the thought process behind it. So this is standardized sizes for your 4S, your 500p pixels, that's standardized in 140, and then the breakdown of your iconography, which is 1632, 48, 64, 126, or sorry, 128. And basically I went for the option of 48 because it works very well for the design, and then 46 on either side, which amounts to 140, and then your standardized height of 88. Button sizes industry standard is 44. Basically, if you have a button, you should never have a button any smaller than 44. Whereas this list option really takes ahead of that, doubling that in size, and that's why this is standardized. I also did a bit of experimentation with different iconographies. So basically I created all my icons, and as you can see, they're in a square, they're in a circle, and they're by itself, and then they're in a gradient. So just different wee things just to test out these different ways, like, and see what looks best. So big question is, why will this app work? Glad you asked. Basically this app, where other apps will be an app and that's fine, because this is set up in a dashboard way, it's actually customizable for the user, so the user can design their own custom dashboard to their specific needs. So let's say if a user only wanted to look at their profile and count steps and water intake, that would be the three options available to them, and therefore takes away the unnecessary effects that you still have, or sorry, effects options that are needed. So if you only need a certain amount of options, you only have them on your dashboard, and everything else is still obtainable within the list all options. I find this is a really key way for that is going to work. As well as that there, a lot of people don't like working on a white background. That is why I've designed for dark and white user interface. And this will attract a much larger audience, because I know software developers and gamers, and even as far as I remember reading an article one time, I even think engineers like working on a darker background. But so that's the reason behind this. Customizable app content, as I explained there a wee second ago, the dashboard is customizable, and for each individual user we'll be able to adapt and change this to their very needs without actually interacting with this yourself. It's all good for me to say this, but UX is a dream, and it really is a dream. And as soon as you were to pick up a phone with this prototype on it, you would understand that the drill in and drill out of options within the dashboard are very, very, very simple and intuitive, and you literally are just going in and out of information. Sorry, my screen just bounced up there a wee second. But so that is basically my idea for this project. And I'm going to just move on to another area. Had a wee look at iconography as well, and this is just a couple of week, very, very quick examples, just to kind of, I'll say it, fill the page. But basically I came up with an idea of incorporating legendary to the actual design, because we're designing for the council, and I wasn't sure. I don't think they're actually looking for something like this, but I just thought it was an idea that came up in my head, so I thought I would just pitch it anyway. So basically taking the City of Culture logo and the health app of Apple's, which would be integratable with our app that we designed, and simply but very, very, very smartly incorporate the two together to create this final icon. And personally, I was very pleased with it myself, and I hope you are too. And thank you for listening. And link above is a link to the interactive prototype. Thank you very much.